Hello, my beautiful friends. Namaste. I'm Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy week forecast for the week of February the 5th, 2024. This is an interesting week. Now, as you know, this month is a lot, and we begin to feel that ramp up phase beginning this week. But truly, this week is nothing compared to the volatility of the following week, and so you need to get your duckies in a row. Let me help you do that by making a plan for the week. Now, one of the first things that's going to occur this week is that we're going to have that contact of Mercury, the planet that rules our minds, the way we speak and communicate. It impacts transport and a kind of a low-level electronic communication devices, things of that nature. It is going to be coming into its first contact with Pluto in Aquarius. Now, we're going to be observing one by one as these interpersonal planets meet Pluto for the first time in this new sign. Mercury will be the first to cross the line, and then we'll experience Mars and Venus next week. This is important not only to kind of get just a read on the new energy of what these contacts are going to look like throughout the 20 years that Pluto is in Aquarius, but it's also going to impact you individually at the very, very beginning of Aquarius, wherever that is in your chart. It is a fresh new vibe, and we'll be gaining a lot of insights this week. So watch that somewhat erratic energy of Mercury contacting Pluto. It could really cause some issues with technology. And in fact, there are several Uranian contacts this week that could really cause some problems with communications, electronics, things of that nature. And so be prepared for some delays, some potential issues. Have your backup systems available and ready to use. Now, that's going to be Monday. We do also have Venus. Venus is currently in Capricorn, and she is going to pick up a square to the nodes of the moon, which right now we have the North Node traveling very close to Chiron. And in fact, they will meet precisely this week. And then, of course, the South Node, which is in Libra. This is the 19-year cycle that is highlighting positive independence and negative partnerships and vice versa. With a Venus clash to those points, this is going to bring up some really differences in opinions, in values. It could bring some issues around love and money. And so you'll want to watch and make sure that you are dealing with some of those things as they arise, because these are problems and issues that you are not going to be able to swiftly sweep under the rug and ignore. These are things that do need to be addressed. With Mercury touching Pluto, though, there could be more of a argumentative kind of vibe, or kind of a controlling energy that you need to be aware of and manage. So be cautious with that. On Tuesday the 6th, we have a moon void, 12:06 a.m. until 7:08 a.m. Eastern. Now, that's not going to impact you too much on the East Coast, but it might for some of my European viewers. So take note of that. We're beginning to come up on some of these very long moon voids that we'll need to pay attention to. On the 7th, we have Mars in Capricorn, sending beautiful energy to Neptune in Pisces. In Pisces. It's spicy in Pisces. There's no doubt about it. With this contact, you are going to have some ideas, and you're going to want to take action, concrete action. And you might feel really emboldened in some way, but you have to be careful, because the very next day we have the precise square between the Sun and Uranus. And when the Sun and Uranus tangle up, which happens every year, twice a year, whenever it's coming into that difficult angle, there are sudden shocking events. Now, this is coming from, Uranus and Taurus, Sun in Aquarius, because Pluto is also in Aquarius, and we are about to experience all these conjunctions. It really could tie into some of the stories and themes that we've been starting to see in the Aquarian area of life, and in the bigger picture, Aquarius energy. So even though that Mars may get you inspired by its contact with Neptune and make you want to do something, you're going to need to slow it down a little bit and make sure you check all the information. Now, we are also picking up then a beautiful trine from Venus to the Uranus, and so that's a little bit of a help as she clashes with the nodes and with Chiron. Now, the 8th is when we really watch that Sun-Uranus energy, and it could cause some volatility, with the markets. It could cause a weather event. There's a lot of ways that it could be expressed, but shock and awe is kind of the word for that day. And don't forget, you know, it can fire a little late, so it could move into the next day or two. So I would look at that energy as flowing from the 7th until probably the end of the week. Our new moon is on February the 9th. It's at 5:59 p.m. Eastern time. But that is not going to be when you want to ritualize your new moon, because it immediately voids and it does not have its next contact until 8:42 a.m. Eastern the next day. So if you're ritualizing this new moon, which is in Aquarius, if you're going to ritualize it, be sure to do it on the 10th after 8:42 a.m. Eastern. Now, this new moon is at 20 degrees 41 minutes of the sign of Aquarius. And I really see this because it's the first new moon in Aquarius, with Pluto in Aquarius, as being very Aquarian themed. Now, it has some really nice energy flowing to the nodes of the moon, Neptune and the Mars. And, you know, but we still have to watch that Sun Uranus is making things a little more volatile. And we also have a clash between Jupiter and Mercury, and that could add to this kind of erratic energy. Jupiter-Mercury, any kind of Jupiter-Mercury contact, whether it be positive or negative, I always look at that as a watch out for, you know, writing checks that you can't cash, so to speak. So overcommitting your time and energy or resources, especially with Mercury very close to that Plutonian influence. Now remember, you'll get up on the 10th and the moon will be void until 8:42 in the morning. It is the happy new Lunar New Year. So the year of the dragon, I believe. That is not my area of expertise, but I will tell you this. As when I was teaching yoga in schools, I would often note with the teachers the differences between the grade levels. It's like, wow, you know, this year the second graders are all wild and that they're nothing like the second graders I had last year or whatever. And I started looking at the years based on the Chinese zodiac to see what, you know, years of children levels or grades seem to be the most challenging. And I will say, I have a child who was born in the year of the dragon, and those year of the dragon, children born in the year 2000 had a lot of, they had a lot of energy. It was a very spicy group of humans. I don't know if there's been another year of the dragon in there, but it might be something to take note of. What symbolically occurs on this day that might give you a little bit of a heads up over the next Lunar New Year. We have that Mercury square to Jupiter precise on the 10th as well. So again, watch the overshare, the overtell, the power struggles, the verbal power struggles, the arguments, things of that nature. And then finally, we finish up the week with that Chiron coming together precisely with the North Node in Aries. This is really truly an opportunity for healing, for figuring out where the pain is, where the suffering is, and what you can do to solve the problem. This is definitely not a time to escape or try to blot out or block the things that you're struggling with. It's a time to meet them, not so much head on, although I think of head on as being a term that you would use with Aries energy, but I would say be a little bit more nuanced about it, be mature about it. Really find the balance between the Aries and Libra energy so that you are independent, yet you can collaborate with others, so that you are doing the Maha Asana, the great pose, as my teacher would say, which is standing on your own 2 feet, but yet able to help others, able to accept help, able to offer help, able to, you know, work well with others, but also understand that they're just a mirror for you and they're reflecting back to you what you're sending out. And if you don't like what you see, you need to change you and not them. All right. Now let's take a look here. I've got the 3 ways to high vibe the week. I've been making that list, and drop a comment below if you're finding these helpful. 1, really observe the symbolic events for the week. Remember, we're still like hunting down clues to what Pluto in Aquarius is going to be like, because no one alive has ever experienced it. So really see if you can kind of look at the news articles and things like that and see what that Pluto Mercury contact really is going to bring forward. Number 2, vibe Uranian. This is a future-oriented energy, and with all the Uranus and I'm having a great time today. Uranus and Uranian and Aquarian energy. We are stepping into the future in a lot of ways. And so how do you vibe Aquarian in the highest sense? Well, you're comfortable with technology. You understand that you use the newest, the latest scientific methods in order to help you with what's happening. It doesn't mean you abandon the old ways, but you stay relevant with your technology and your understanding of how it works. Vibing Uranian also requires a certain amount of detachment, but also embracing of individual gifts and talents, right? And not homogeneous, not just everything is the same and everyone is the same, all right? Not like that at all. It's about celebrating independence. And finally, the third thing to high vibe this week is to make choices that bring you more freedom. Freedom-oriented choices. That is also a very Uranian concept, a very Aquarian concept, and might be something that you want to include in your rituals for your new moon this week. 3 things to avoid and watch out for this week. Immaturity, all right? Maturity doesn't mean that you have to be old and boring. Maturity means that you play the long game. Maturity means that you understand the consequences of your actions, your words, and your thoughts. All right. So if you wonder, should I really say it that way? Should I send that, email? Should I whatever? Ask what your higher self would do. All right. So try to be very mature. I also said, don't let the visionary get in the way of reality. We can sometimes, with that Aquarian energy or Uranian energy, be so in the air, ideas and thoughts and what's real and what's unreal that we forget about the reality, right? And so anchor yourself in reality. Don't forget your good Tauran energy. Don't forget your good Capricornian energy. Don't forget your good Virgo energy. Stay connected to the reality and to Mother Earth. And finally, do not overcommit or overtrust technology this week, right? So you want to have your backup systems in place. You want to make sure that you have, don't let things run out of battery. Make sure that if you've got backup systems that they're functional and working. Make sure if you really need something important that you follow up and make sure that it happened. It's almost like functioning in a Mercury retrograde environment this week, but it's a little broader and deeper than that. And so slow down and make sure that you are taking care of those kinds of things. Don't be casual in your use of technology in any way this week. All right, well, the tarot is super interesting. That has returned. I made time for that. I appreciate everyone who gave me that feedback and encouraged me to continue with the Isis Lotus Tarot. But if you found this useful and helpful, please drop a comment below. It does help the channel to grow, and I'll see you in the tarot. Hello, my beautiful friends. Namaste. And welcome to your Isis Lotus Tarot spread for the week of February the 5th, 2024. Thank you to everyone who reached out to let me know that you were missing the tarot. And I really appreciate that feedback. So I am dedicating myself to being more organized so I have time to do the whole thing each week. All right. So as you know, this gives us 2 potential ways to work with the energy for the week. February, the month itself, is a lot. So, yeah. Beginning to see those first contacts with Pluto of personal planets. New moon, just busy. Okay. All right. So for the collective, this week, we start out the basic influence of the past, Page of Pentacles. So there's something that you've been wanting to do. You have an idea. It's just, it's kind of like, but it's practical. It's like something that you are really trying to seed out into the world. And then there's you, 2 of Cups. So really, you're really in this feeling of something being a really good thing for you. All right. The environment, Judgment. There's some karmic things happening. They may or may not be specific to you, but there are some decisions that you are going to need to make this week. All right. As these 3 energies come together, we have Page of Cups energy. So that is influencing you to have an idea, to come forth with an idea that's really emotionally fulfilling. Now, the key card, Core of the Future, is 3 of Wands. Have no doubt that you're moving in the right direction. You've already made some inroads here. Now, the opposing forces in play, first on one side is Queen of Swords, logic, lists, ideas, rational thought. On the other side, we've got the Three of Swords. We've got some worries, some concerns, some upsets, some stress happening, okay? And so the near future detail card is the Moon. This is kind of interesting, but what this says is, look, there's more going on than you're aware of, all right? So you have to operate with a little bit more instinct, even though you're having to be rational, right? There's swords energy. You have to be rational, but realize that you don't have the whole picture. You don't know everything yet, all right? And so make sure that you realize, hey, there's more to be revealed. Now on the Queen of Swords side, that says Page of Wands. Boy, this is a lot of page energy. Tons of like initiatory energy, or at least ideas, right? The page has the idea, the knight starts to make it go forward. And then on the Three of Swords side, we have the Six of Pentacles, pouring time and energy into something, okay? So, interesting. Now, over here, Queen of Swords, Page of Wands, King of Wands. So that's a pretty hard launch into the energy, right? From page to king. There could definitely be some anger, some upset, some pushing that takes place. Over here, Three of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and the Magician. Be rest assured that it's all going to work out, that you have what you need. All right, and then there are two possible solutions or progressions. On the Queen of Swords side, we have the Eight of Pentacles, which says, look, you're gaining skills, abilities, learning things that are going to be applied to your future. On the Three of Swords side, we've got the World, reassurance of big picture success. Paired with that Eight of Pentacles on the Queen of Swords side, some conflict, some disagreement. There's a lot of wand energy over here, which can be very difficult. And then over here with the world card, Ace of Pentacles. So I think this gives some pretty distinct ways to work with the energy, right? In the past, you've wanted to start something. Two of Cups, you have this perfect situation or idea. Something is really flowing well. Within that environment, you have a decision to make, judgment. And then you have to initiate something that you want, that really is fulfilling. You can do this logically, or Three of Swords, there's some concern. I feel like it's almost like this side is Queen of Swords saying you have this like idealized vision for it. And over here, you're a little bit more uncertain. No, either way, you're moving forward, right? And there's a lot going on. And so if you are really going for it, Queen of Swords style, know that there are going to be some anger, some upsets, some difficulties. You might run into some problems. But even if you do, realize that you're gaining skills. You're gaining knowledge that's going to help you. If you're a little bit more hesitant, okay, and I would say that this almost might be the way to go. Be a little bit more hesitant. Address and really feel into the emotional response that you're having. And realize it's like the moon is like walking... It's like walking in a muddy pond, right? And you're not sure as you place each foot what's going to be under there, right? It might be something that can either support you or not or hurt you, right? So spend time and energy on it's kind of like more practical things versus initiatory things. Expend the energy on the practical, and when you start to feel confident, that's when you know you're in the right place, okay? If you encounter anger, upset, or blowback in some way, you realize that you're working with this energy over here versus over here. And then, then things start to really flow. Things start to come together, and you'll have a very practical new beginning if you're experiencing this side of the reading for the week. So if you, again, end up with anger, upset, people like arguing with you, whatever, just think to yourself, I'm just taking the information I'm gathering the skills and abilities. I'm understanding the picture better. And it's just more clarifying versus this energy over here, which is more like, all right, and now we begin something. All right. You got this, baby. I'm so proud of you. I appreciate you for watching all the way to the end. If you can drop a comment, it inspires me in ways you cannot imagine. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.